Hello, everybody. Welcome to NUFC Talk TV, another live match preview ahead of the matchup on Monday. I hate playing Mondays, man. It throws me off. It just doesn't feel right playing Monday. But we're going to play Monday nonetheless. And that's going to be a thing in the UK. What time? 7 p.m.?
Oh, for us,
yeah.
it's an 8 o'clock kickoff.
8 o'clock. So, well, our coverage starts at 7 p.m. But 8 o'clock, man. Imagine Newcastle fans getting back to tune from London at that time. Damn near impossible. But we also got Rio here, West Ham United fan, to give us insights in his on his club, a club that I expected a lot more from that we've been getting in the Premier League, to say the least. The good signings. I actually rated Fulkrug. I rated a lot of the guys that they got, but at this point, it's not working with Julian Lopetegui. He's looking to face the sack. Uh, if they get beaten against Newcastle, and maybe there's a lot of goals in that match, they might not wait. But if they beat us, he might live another day. So we'll get to that, of course. We got Gary, we got Jamie, we got the Mighty Win, and of course Rio. Welcome, mate. I hope you're all is well. How's things going? Well, you're in London, right?
Yeah.
How's things in London, man? Do you guys
it's cold?
It's
cold and miserable, mate, as per usual.
Yeah. Is it true the Mighty Win says that there's no good steaks in London? Is that true?
No. There's plenty. Just have gone now.
What I said was the only place you can get a good steaks in London.
No. You didn't say that. You said there's no good steaks in England. Period.
There's no good steaks in Newcastle.
Yeah, compared to the US. But well, look, we got to play West Ham. I think it's not going to be an easy match whatsoever. Although they are right now, let me take a look, 14th in the table right now. That's not a good place for West Ham. Rio, what's going on, mate?
Right, where do you want to start? First of all, the new manager coming in, very impressive CV. It's got Seville on it, Real Madrid, the Spanish national team. But he's never really convinced anywhere, to be honest. He had a couple of good seasons at Seville. But most importantly, on behalf of David Sullivan, the key thing that he got appointed for is because not only is the CV impressive, he was also out of work. Therefore, no compensation, no extra money flying out of his pocket, the club's pocket. So we obviously need to move on from Moyes. Moyes did a fantastic job the 4 years. League performances were dipping badly. Change was needed. It had gone stale from either side. So Sullivan, as is his wont, took the managerial appointment and board on his own back, really, ignoring the advice of his director of football. And he just went for a sexy name with a good CV. Didn't delve into any of the complexities like playing style, how you operate as a man manager. And if rumours to believe that the hardcore of players who are still left from like the Moyes era were very much against the appointment. We've got an influx of new players, about 8 or 9 new players come in. That obviously is going to take time to gel. Introduce a new style of play is going to take time to gel. But from day one, it has looked a complete shambles. First game against Aston Villa, first game of the season, we conceded in the first few minutes. Wide open, unmarked Onana in the box. This has been a recurring theme. Not once during our league games have we put in a convincing first half performance. And it's all well and good recovering in the second period. But if you're on the back foot or you're a goal or two down already and the game's virtually gone from you, it's chaos.
Yeah.
And we're making the same mistakes week in, week out. Nobody's learning. Nobody seems happy. Yeah, it's part of the circle of being a West Ham fan. I mean, I'm preaching to the converted here. I mean, we'll go for our troughs and our highs and lows. But every time we're on the cusp of doing something really kind of special or getting those building blocks together, we find an incredible way to self-implode. And sadly, it's that part of the cycle.
Yeah. It's certainly not where I expected West Ham to be at in the table this season. But let us get to Mighty Wayne to start with you, man. What do you expect from this match? What do you think of West Ham?
Well,
What do
like
think of
you, I
Newcastle?
expected a lot. I expected a lot more from West Ham this season with what they spent in the summer. And to me, with a possible exception of Fulkrug, they look to have made really good signings.
Right.
But it simply hasn't materialised, has it, Rio?
Not at all. Not at all. The only one who's really impressed me on a consistent basis has been Max Kilman. I think it's been a real good buy. Tadibo does look a solid player, and together they could form a good partnership. But they're just so exposed at the back all the time that good players, they're up against the wall before they even start. There's no kind of cohesion. There's no protection in front of them. There's no
I was going to say, whenever I look at the West Ham lineups, it's this 4-1-4-1 formation.
Yeah.
And when you've got Bowen, Somerville, and Paquetá as part of that four,
there's no steel in there. We need a little bit of steel.
You've got nothing in midfield. You've got one man in the middle trying to stem the tide. King Canute.
Yeah. Well, Mighty Wayne, what do you think it's going to be? What do you expect this weekend, though? I mean, Monday.
I'm expecting 3 points, as I always do, but especially now, the way West Ham have been playing lately. With our midfield, I think, and with Isaac finding his form again, I think it should be comfortable, to be fair. But we know Newcastle are very like West Ham. We have a way of finding a self-destruct button somewhere. And, let's see what happens. Let's see what team we'll pick.
Well, that's gonna be we're gonna try to guess what we're gonna pick on Monday today. But look at you praising Isak, man. That's interesting. Never happened before. Gary, what do you think about this matchup coming up?
I mean, look, Win has just more or less said it all. And it as a like I say, I used to. I loved Upton Park, and I say it was one of the grounds that I loved in the London area. Always loud, always getting some vibes from it. Now they've seemed to have lost a little bit of their identity a little bit. And I always felt that with Moyes, they had a guy, very much a grafter, very much somebody who would try and get the best of whatever squad he'd got available. Now, I totally agree with what Rial's just said. I think Moyes had come to the end of his tenure, and you've got to look at it that it needed freshening up. Now, my concern was the fact that do you just freshen up the manager? Because sometimes if you make too many changes, it can unbalance the apple cart a little bit by bringing somebody in with a different view and then bringing in umpteen other personnel. And obviously, I know Lopetegui is, again, I'll go back to his Wolves days. You speak to a Wolves fan and there isn't a Wolves fan that's got a great word to say about the lad. It's whether he has picked the right players to fit with what Moyes had already built. I think at this present moment in time, and again, I go back to the Forest game, West Ham looked all over the place. They didn't look a unit. They didn't look organised at any point, and it seemed as though every time the ball went 3/4 of the way in the field, they were turned constantly, and I just felt as though West Ham were literally running towards their own goal rather than running in the opposing goal. So I don't know what Lopetegui's trying to do there, and like Win said before, they've bought some really good players. I mean, I know Fulkrug's been injured, and Rio's mentioned Hillman at the back, who I thought was one of the definite powerhouses at Wolves. And when you look at the squad that they've got, a lot of internationals within the squad, a lot of decent ball players that can progress the ball really well. Is it literally just the system that Lopetegui's playing that's stopping this really good team playing well? So I don't take this as a given, and we were talking literally in the green room. For me, it was the game of the season. This exact fixture last season. I know it wasn't for Real, but it was for me. It was one of those, so low at one point, being 3-1 down, to being literally lifting the roof up at the next. So I expect it to be a very good game, an exciting game. I do like West Ham. I like the way they play. Not seen them much under Lopetegui, but I do think we've probably got enough to beat them, and I'm going to predict a 3-1 score.
Well, we didn't go to the predictions yet, man.
No, sorry, mate. Okay, I've always been premature. I do apologise.
There you go. Jamie Smith, been a while,
That's what
mate.
Vanna keeps telling us.
Well, what can we? Are you going to London, Jamie?
No, it's in Newcastle, man. I was telling you.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Oh, sorry. I forgot about that. I don't know, for some reason, but the whole week I've been thinking is away. Even with the thumbnail, I had to redo it. For some reason, I had it that it was away, but it would be horrible going to London that late anyway. I've seen it. I think against in the cup.
We had it a lot last season.
Oh, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't worry, our TV broadcasters, they'll put anybody anywhere at any time, and the fans have just got to suck it up. Yeah. And it's West Ham's turn on Monday. It'll be our turn. So
on the there you go. On the West Ham fans' perspective, it is exactly what I mentioned earlier on. But what do you think, Jamie? What can we expect from this matchup?
It was a good game last year. I had a laugh when Gary was talking about that, because my little lad wanted to go home at 3-1 down, and I made him stay and maybe learn a life lesson.
Well, there's a life lesson for him.
Absolutely.
Never give up. But
Never give up.
But I'll tell you what, guys, you'll all know what I'm talking about, and I include Rio in this. When you think you get a game coming along and somebody gets a new manager in, and you think, oh man, we're playing them at the wrong time. I don't know who Man United have got at the weekend, but they're probably thinking that they're going to be like
Ipswich, yeah.
Ipswich, blimey. But you get people at the wrong time sometimes, don't you? But I think you can also get an opponent at the right time. I think the bringing Lopetegui in hasn't worked at West Ham. I don't see anything that would suggest it's short term. What Rio described reminds me of Newcastle under Bruce and the later days under Alan Pardew, where there just wasn't a plan B, and you knew if the opposition scored, then it was game over. And if that happened to be after 5 minutes, then the next 2 hours of your life were a waste of time. So it's a pretty desperate position to be in. And I think we've absolutely got the flip of that situation, in that we're getting West Ham at the right time. I agree with what everyone said, that, you never know in the Premier League, you never know with Newcastle, but I can't see past a comfortable win. Had a little look, and we've got the away game. It's not on Monday night, Chris. The away game, it's on my birthday in March, and I am contemplating a trip down to West Ham for that, depending on it depends a little bit on what goes on in the Carabao Cup and stuff, because that's very close to there. But I would imagine by the time we get to the Olympic Stadium, you'll be seeing a completely different West Ham. If you can cast your minds right back, I would compare it maybe to Palace last year. Yeah, when, if you remember the home game against Palace, they were awful. There's a great clip actually I've got of Mark Gee falling on his arse, giving the ball to Sean Longstaff, and Longstaff walking around him and scoring a goal. 70 million quid my arse. But they were terrible that day under Hodgson, I think, was still the manager. And then when they had the manager changed, by the time we got to Selhurst, they were a different team. So I think West Ham will be that team this season. And it's maybe coming too late for them to have a European challenge, but for this home game, I'm feeling quite confident. And we're in good form, so there's no reason to feel like we shouldn't. Defrosting Callum Wilson.
Just while we've got you on, Rio, what's the crack with away tickets for West Ham fans? Do they sell out them all every time, or?
Yeah, predominantly we do sell out. Sadly, we've got an element of our away support who buy the tickets just to get the point, on our ticket.
So it's the same here.
Then sell them on again. But I'm expecting a fair few up there. Not sure we'll actually be a fall away end because Monday night.
That's what I was asking for. What's the?
But officially, I think it has completely sold.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I would expect that from West Ham fans anyway. They're a big club, so
that's that we have exactly the same problem with points for away games.
Yeah. Which but Jamie was speaking of, that he doesn't expect anything other than a win, in the vast majority of Newcastle fans expect that. But I think that this, because of how West Ham is performing, we're playing at home, and how Newcastle, for some reason, is getting results, playing better in the last few games. Forest last season, we didn't play well. It was a must-win game. Against Bournemouth, it was a must-win game, 2-2. Against Luton, it was a must-win game, and then barely at St. James's Park against Luton, we barely got that win. The draw. We're not really. We don't win must-win games, and we don't do that. That's not our cup of tea. So I wouldn't underestimate how the turnaround is going to be against West Ham. They are a bigger club than Luton by a long country mile, and they have better players.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't put it past them. Jamie, now is your time to redeem yourself.
I think, but I think if those games you mentioned, we were in pretty poor state ourselves, weren't we? We had a lot of injuries, and I can't think of a time. All right, we're missing Botman, but I can't think of a time when we've had a cleaner bill of health than we've got going into this game. And maybe the Monday night's a little bit helpful in that sense, in that we've got Bruno coming back from Brazil. Isak played 90 minutes against Azerbaijan, which isn't in Europe, by the way, on I think Tuesday night, Wednesday night. So maybe those extra 48 hours will be helpful to us. I'll tell you what, Chris. Actually, it's a little thing that's reminded us. I was at a match a few years ago, and I got chatting to an American guy in a restaurant afterwards, and he told me how he'd been to see one Newcastle match, and he was saying it was against West Ham, and I'm like, I'm sorry, what? And I thought, and he kept repeating it, and West Ham played pretty well. I think they got a draw, and I think he'd heard the way we say Birmingham and Streatham and Billingham, and he just thought, they just never pronounce the ham at the end of things. I didn't have the heart to tell him that it's a different word, mate.
I love that.
I had a question though, Rio. I mean, what is without giving me your prediction yet? What is the vast majority of West Ham fans thinking of this match the weekend? Because you know that if it's an embarrassing result, more than likely Lopetegui is going to be gone. But if it's a loss, if it's a loss nonetheless, what do you think?
Yeah, well, first of all, I don't think any of our fans are expecting anything other than complete disaster. We're also coming off an international break. We've got Fulkrug isn't back. Paqueta's been away with Brazil. But even in his league form this season, with all this betting scandals on his shoulders, he looks like a shadow of the player that we all know he can be. Mm-hmm. We've had Mikel Antonio off in Jamaica and losing his passport while he was out there.
That was handy.
It's always. I mean, if you're going to lose your passport, lose it in the Caribbean, so you have to stay there.
Yeah.
But Mikel is now at this age where we should have upgraded on him 3 years ago easily. Again, we're flogging the same players week in, week out. When he starts this whole international cycle and going away, he's a shadow of what he can be. He looks jet-lagged, always relying on his power for like 30 minutes, then he's blown out his backside from then on. So, I'm not coming into this game with any kind of optimism whatsoever, and I think that's the feeling throughout East London.
But do you think that this will be it?
I don't. I think if they was going to pull the trigger, why don't pull the trigger before the international break? So I know we've got players away on duty, but you can work with what's remaining to try and get us a new manager and a new system implemented. And again, going back to the financial things, there's a alleged rumour that if he does drop into the bottom three, there's a clause that we can pull the trigger. It doesn't cost us as much compensation as it should do. And David Sutherland loves a fiver more than does the football club, basically.
Yeah. Talking about money, though, PDK here has a question for Rio. Who is your highest paid player at your club, and what is the average wage for your squad? I guess we're trying to gauge that as well, what we should be at. Well, what do you think?
I could actually look that up, but from the top of my head, I do believe it's either Lucas Paqueta and possibly Hamid Kudus are the highest paid players. They've got in about 120 plus a week. I think around about the average wage we're playing is about 70, 80. Jared Bones had a 5 to 6 years deal last season, so he's probably bumped his one up a little.
So I've got it here for you. Paqueta's 150, Bones 150, Ings 125, Ariola 120, Kilman 100, Alvarez 100, Emerson 95, Fulkrug 90. So they're way less than what we're up here.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, we haven't signed anybody as of their last two windows to really say what we're going. What's our new way of paying. I mean, you got Kelly on 150, but you say he came for free. He's not so much for free, and nobody else really to gauge, because I mean, Osula, he probably gets paid £100 a week or something. So can't really gauge that.
So what's your point?
So my point is, well, I don't know that question. That's PDK asking that question. So that's what That's what.
All right. That's the answer. Paqueta and Bone are the two highest paid players, followed by Ings. And again, the reason Ings will be on what he's on is because he was a free, so he gets it. He gets it on the salary.
Yeah.
All right.
Rather than signing on for.
I got some insights. Newcastle United have scored 7 goals in their last 5 matches. Newcastle also haven't lost to West Ham United in their last 5 meetings. We won 2 and drawn 3. I remember the last season we drew 2-2 at your ground, and I thought we could have won that one, but you guys equalized at the end. Alexander Isak has the most shots on target per match for Newcastle United, 1.3. That would be obvious. He's the striker. And for West Ham, you have scored 7 goals in the last 5 matches as well. So the same stat as Newcastle. So Mighty Wayne thinks Newcastle United is Real Madrid. West Ham not doing well. Had the same amount of goals in the last 5 matches. So no difference there. Interesting. Have been awarded the most penalties this season with 2 at West Ham. I don't think that's a stat. That's much of a stat really, or means much. Haven't scored in your last 2 matches though, Rio. That is interesting. You have a problem up there or what?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, our attacking options, we haven't got a main striker with Fulkrug out and Antonio like virtually walking around with a walking stick. But behind him, we've got the likes of Kudus, you've got Paqueta, Bowen. Dan Ings has actually been useful this season because the change of manager and change the way we play has suited him. We have got Somerville. We've got attacking options, but no one looks. We haven't got an attacking play and a definitive style of attack. It always seems to be just get down the wings and pull the ball back from the byline into the box. We had some. We've gone from the best team at set pieces in the league to probably the worst. We're just lacking a definitive style. No one knows what they're supposed to be doing. It's just a shambles, absolute shambles at the moment at our place.
Yeah. Shout out to Antagonizing Jordy celebrating 8 months of membership. Thank you, mate. And
thank you.
Well done, Lee.
in the chat. Everybody in the chat, hit the like button right now, folks. Come on, help us out. Smash the like button. Close the chat for a second. Hit the like button and help us out. Beard says 0-0 results. He's switching because he had us winning. Oh, he had us losing. The only one that had West Ham winning, and he's going to 0-0. So we'll make sure we appoint that. right now. Mr. Beard says 0-0. There we go. We got
And
that
I just
interview.
highlight a certain thing that, like what Rio's just hit on there, Chris. You mentioned there you were obviously one of the big set piece players and everything else. But with this new formation that you've got, what I've actually looked at is when you look at the shots faced against with West Ham, they sit fourth in the table for the most shots conceded. So the teams around you, you've got the likes of Leicester, Southampton, and Ipswich, which obviously are all the teams that came up. So when you actually look at that stat, surely, as I keep saying, your goalkeeper's only as good as the team in front of you. Do you think that the team is totally unbalanced, allowing the oppositions to get that many shots at you?
Absolutely. The centre and midfield is where we're going to get destroyed on Monday night for me. Alvarez, I think, is a really good player. But
he's back, isn't he, Alvarez?
He should be back, I think, this week. But he lacks discipline at times. He's got a very irrational streak in him. I think the sending off at Forest just really summed it up, It was a tackle he didn't need to make, and yet he makes that challenge. He did it early in the season against Liverpool. He's done it 2 or 3 times last season. Great player, but the mentality for someone who is an established international is not there. Alongside him, Rodriguez, when he plays, he's taken a bit of a while to settle in. And from judging by what I've been reading in the press and hearing rumours from the training ground, he wants out already because the style of the Premier League really doesn't suit him. But he's one of these players who just sits back, collects the ball, distributes it. We haven't got a dynamic player in the midfield who can get the ball, progress with it, make surging runs with a real engine on him, and someone who knows what they're doing with the ball. It's all kind of rush and hope, and no one's got any kind of real structure. Thomas Souček, he's been a very good player for us, but he's very limited with his ability with passing wise. He's really suited to playing a further forward role rather than a defensive role. He hasn't got the pace. He hasn't got the legs to get up and down the pitch as much as a lot of other players who we really should be implementing in that area should be. We've got 3 decent players, but none of them suit each other. And this is where we're getting carved open in the midfield, exposed down the flanks. So, yeah, it's a recipe for disaster.
Damn, man, there's nothing positive.
My.
Let me ask you this, though, because we're looking at the stats, by the way, just to show the people what's going on with both teams. But if there's one thing that you would have to attribute a win against Newcastle at St. James's Park, what would it be? Why would it be a reason of why you would win on Monday? There's got to be something positive, man.
A severe case of food poisoning at St. James's Park on Monday afternoon.
Come on, man.
Finally putting in a decent set piece for the first time this season.
Well, we've just learned how to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
We scored our first goal for a corner in 134 corners or something last week.
Wow. I didn't realise he was that much. I knew he was struggling a little bit from that kind of thing, but not that much. Yeah. I just really can't envisage a win. I really can't.
Well, a draw. How can you get a draw?
If your back line makes rash tackles in the area. We've got some good penalty takers.
All right.
I'll give us that. That's the only positive thing I've got to say about us at the moment.
Yeah. Interesting.
I'll say that. No, we've got a lovely home kit this year. Absolutely home kit. If you get kind of starstruck by, if we're wearing the home kit up there, if you get starstruck by that and go, that's a sexy kit, that's the only way we're going to win.
Yeah. Which, you know what's crazy, though? I mean, we got pretty similar stats when it comes to, obviously we haven't played the same team, so if that you can erase all the stats based on that fact. But, it's not really, but there's something going on. Do you think the extra game, you guys are in Europe, right? Or no? No, because Chelsea, yeah, that's right. So you guys are not in Europe. That's not good.
When did you win the Conference League?
2 years ago.
That was when we had our good season as well.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago. Did that mean much for your West Ham fans? Did that revive? Did the fans cared, or did they say, "Well, it's just a milk, milk cup"?
The last 3 years being in Europe have been absolutely immense. The one thing I'm really gutted about is that a few years back I've developed a bit of an illness, so I haven't been to away games for the last 5 years. I've started going this season again, but I've waited all them bloody years to get into Europe and do regular European trips with my friends and my sons. Finally get in there. Finally have a decent run where we can go a week in every other fortnight or whatever. And I couldn't bloody go. So I am sick to death of everyone who did go, you know?
Yeah.
Like one of my mates went to every single European trip, and yeah. But yeah, we loved it. We loved it. And as you know, our new ground isn't let's put it isn't good. But there were some electric atmospheres for the bigger games, like the Lyon games, Seville, Frankfurt, Leverkusen. Some of the best atmospheres I've heard over the new place. It's never going to match the bowling, never will do. But we've got to move on. We're never going back. So those evenings really brought to life what is possible if we have a team, an ownership, and a structure in place to make West Ham special again.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I would assume that conference league title was immense, but it seems like you guys have taken steps back from that time. And but why couldn't you continue with the manager you had? I mean, what happened there after winning something? Why did it happen?
David Moyes. When he first came in to manage the role the first time around, he was somebody that nobody wanted. His stock was a very low level, but he had Premiership experience. He was available for nothing. Right? David Sullivan, all the boxes checked, would grab him in. Then we went for the Pellegrini route, which didn't work. Then I don't know if it reflects more badly on Moyes for coming back or Sullivan and Gold for reaching out and getting Moyes back, you know. Mm-hmm. But he came in, he did a really good job. That first year is the COVID season. So maybe he was like free of a little bit of pressure there. Yeah. But we was playing some really good football. But there was no crowds there to kind of influence matters. And so with the likes of Thomas Suchek, he's been a bit of a victim of boo boys over the last season a bit, which I think is really unjust because he's one of these wholehearted players. But he had his best season for us in the COVID era. Yeah. We was doing incredibly well in Europe. I think we reached the semis of the Europa League the first year, won the conference the second. We reached the quarterfinals of Europa League last year. But league performances over the last 18 months of Moyes' tenure had dipped quite alarmingly. We weren't investing in the areas in the squad that we should do. When we did bring players in, they kind of felt alienated and utilised in the wrong ways, and it kind of created a little bit of disharmony. So it was time for a change. I think he'd run his course. We appreciated greatly what he did, and I think it was right for both parties to part ways.
There you go. Jordy Dan, that Arsenal defeat did for Moyes sadly. I'd not have wanted him going. I thought he was great for the Hammers. Beard says the Premier League is just tough. You can't have a bad transfer window or two and be in trouble. You can have a bad transfer window and be in trouble. But we haven't bought anybody in the last two windows either. So we're going to be looking for it desperately in the winter, and we will see if that happens. Let's get to your predicted lineup, Rio. Who you predict to play in the weekend? This is already predetermined, but we can make any changes you would like. We got Fabianski at goal. You good with that?
Yeah, definitely. I do like Cariola, but he has lost the plot a little bit this season. Not commanding his box. Looks very unsure. He's a great shot stopper. But if you put the ball, like Joe Hart used to put the ball to his near post, it's a guaranteed goal. Ariola's been doing that far too regularly this season.
Right. Okay, so good. Fabianski. I like Fabianski, man. He's been around.
Flappy Hansky.
Yeah. We all know that You know what I love? All I'm going to say is that, or that, when Isaac
hands on hips,
lobbed him. Yeah, exactly. And it was like just watching it go back in. The two of them. I had that as part of my wall art. I had it I made it into a cartoon version. I'd got the two of them facing the goal. It was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal.
All right, and so center backs to Debo and Kilman. Are you good with that?
Most definitely. They're sort of probably been Kilman's been probably our most consistent defender this season.
Yep.
Tadebo's, when he's been in the side, has looked pretty good. They've just been exposed by the midfield and the fullbacks.
Yeah. And so what about Wan-Bissaka, though? Are you talking about the fullbacks? I mean, he's Man United product. What, are you happy with him or what?
At times, I'm happy with him. The reason he's not playing for Real Madrid, he's only got 1 foot. If he had 2 foot, he'd be an absolute well beater. His left foot is absolutely abysmal.
We've got one like that.
But again, he's been utilised in the wrong way. At times, at Man United, he was renowned as a very good defensive fullback. We seem to be utilising him as more of a kind of almost a wing back at times. Right. And it really doesn't suit him. His sat nav has been all over the place. I mean, the other week, we were watching a game and he should have been covering in the right back position. He stood up the top of the field in the wide left. And you're thinking, what are you doing? So I would actually put in Vladimir Soufal, a player I find has been very, very solid for us. He created a lot of assists last season.
Did you say Criswell?
Vladimir Soufal, sorry.
Underneath with the C, Chris, down.
Up.
That's it. No, you've just gone past him.
Vladimir.
Chris.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
My goodness. So Kufal. And all right. And what about Emerson? Are you good with Emerson?
Most definitely. He's a very tidy player. Again, he's very good going forward. Tidy on the ball. He's just suffering. He's got no protection in front of him at the moment.
Yeah. Now in the midfield, you got Rodriguez there from Real Betis. Came to you, really good player, Argentinian international, World Cup winner on the bench, but winner nonetheless. Mighty Win went over Mighty Win's head because he doesn't watch any other league, man. But are you happy with him in the middle?
I would rather. I mean, I do like him, but if the rumours are true, he does one out already after a matter of 3 or 4 months. Are you going to pick an unhappy player?
Mm.
And if you have got Alvarez back in contention, despite his lack of discipline, he is probably our best defensive midfielder, and he has got a bit of an engine.
Do you think? What do you think about Alvarez, though, Mexican international?
I really do like him. I'd bring him in actually.
Yeah, okay, we're gonna make a change then. So Guido going down, and man, that's where he's probably up there already. Oh, there we go. Edson Alvarez. Where's he from, Mighty Win?
Mexico.
There we go. We teach him Mighty Win. Every time we talk about other teams, we teach him.
Do you think that's it? You know, with you saying that Souček's been off the boil lately, do you think there's any chance that he might go with?
Well, we were going to get to that.
With a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah, I think that's the most likely.
So Rodriguez would be in.
Oh, I actually think it's going to be Rodriguez or Souček. I think.
Right. So
I think he will pick Rodriguez because of his kind of abilities to break up play and distribute.
Over Souček.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. And then up here, Paquetá, unmovable. What do you think about Paquetá's situation, man? It's kind of weird how all that is happening.
It's certainly weighing heavy on his shoulders. He's looked a shadow of himself this season. In fits and starts, looks brilliant. It's just frustrating because he loves to go to ground. Even during his peak with us, he just loves hitting the deck and looking for a cheap foul. I know it's
when is there an outcome to the Paquetá investigation? Because it could be a lifetime ban, couldn't it?
So that's the rumours, yeah. It's still going. Apparently, he had to send a phone back for more investigation onto it, and it's gone missing, which doesn't look really really good, does it? So that's Antonio's passport, Paquetá's phone.
Rebecca
Our
Vardy.
defence have all gone missing this season.
Oh, I love that.
Oh man. All right. Well, we'll have to see. Paquetá hasn't been performing this season as well as he probably could. Really good friends, best friends with Bruno Guimaraes, by the way.
I was
If you
going to
didn't
say,
know.
talk about trying to get fouls. We've got
He's
Bruno
the
does exactly the same.
He's the master.
Yeah.
Most fouled player in the Prem right now.
All right. So Bowen, that's another good player, man. What the heck?
He's number one on my hit list, by the way.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
well, Mighty Wins hit list, not nobody else important really. But there's a question right here from AG says, does Rio think we can tempt Bowen to come to the tune? What would you think about that? I mean, would that be a gut punch to you?
That would be probably the lowest point we've had for the last few years now.
Wow.
He's one of these players we brought in from Hull. He seemed to really get ingrained in the club very quickly. Obviously, now his father-in-laws are involved. Mm-hmm. He's established himself in the England squad. He's one of these players who gives everything week in, week out. Obviously, after the Declan Rice debacle, he's now the figurehead of the club. Extended contract. He's the thing that everyone, from the marketing department.
The one beacon of light.
Yeah.
And he's always available, mate. That's the punch, isn't it? I very rarely see this lad out the team.
And he never goes missing. That's what I love about him. Even when things ain't going well, he would always turn up. He would always put a shift in. And he's just one of these players you can't fail to love through his sheer work ethic. And he's a brilliant on the ball. He's improved as a player so much over the last 2 years. Has been unreal.
And hasn't he just signed a 6-year contract or something?
Yeah, 6-year contract last year. Yeah.
I personally think it would be a big outlay for Bowen for what you'd
get.
It
would, there's no doubt. But I would break the bank for him.
Has he been performing, though, up to par this season?
He's probably been our most consistent performance because he's one of our best players and he never goes hiding. And there's the rumours that the established players under Moyes, they don't like Lopetegui's ways. They don't like the way he conducts himself on the training ground. But Jared Bowen has not shown any signs of that. He may look down and frustrated at times. That's because the team's doing badly. But
do you think
excuse me?
It's all right, mate. Do you think it's got something to do with the language barrier, though? Because Lopetegui isn't the best at speaking English. And there was a lot of Wolves fans that were saying that they got... there's a couple of lads from their academy, the Wolves Academy, that they were talking to. And they were just saying that, the lad, when he's talking in the dressing room, it is very difficult to try and understand exactly what he wants because of his... it's broken. It's so broken, some of his English.
It's fair point on both points. Yeah, I mean, again, the rumours coming out of the dressing room is that he's very hard to get his actual methodology across, which is creating confusion on the pitch. Mm-hmm. And also, he seems a little bit aloof at times, which doesn't bode well. I went to a pre-season game, my local club, Dagenham, and Mohamed Kudus was warming up because he'd just come back from international duty. Didn't play the first half. He's warming up, and the whole backroom staff are running the kids from Kudus through some training drills. And Kudus looked the most cheesed off I've ever seen. This is the boy who loves football, always got a smile on his face. He looked like he wanted to be anywhere else in the world.
He's suspended though still for Monday, isn't he?
Yeah, he got an extra 2 games for
punching and slapping.
2 Spurs players, I believe.
Yeah, so I would have given him a bonus. I mean, you're in 2 Tottenham players.
Knighthood, mate.
All right, so we got Paquetá, Bowen.
Just on Bowen,
sorry,
Chris,
go on. Yep.
I think I don't know if everyone's aware, but Jared Bowen for me is one of the biggest cock-ups of the Mike Ashley era.
Because, we could have had him from Hull.
Yeah, Steve Bruce gave him his debut at Hull, and then Steve Bruce was manager when he was going for a transfer, and he was happy to rejoin Bruce. And I think it was one of those things where the Ashley regime refused to pay that extra couple of million. And what's Jared Bourne worth now? What would he have done these last few years in the Eddie Howe team?
Yeah.
So what do you think of Somerville? That's another. See, we got a few players that you mentioned, Bowen, that we went for. Somerville was linked to us as well this summer. Went to you guys. What do you think of Somerville? Has he been a good signing, or do you keep him on the lineup on the, for Monday?
I would keep him Monday because Kudos is out. It's a very strange one, Somerville. When I watched him play with Leeds last year, he had a lot of the Wilfried Zahas about him, and that isn't a compliment, by the way.
Oh.
All the ability on the ball, but you look like he's one of these players who, if he doesn't get his own way, very surly, very disinterested if it doesn't go directly through him. He's not started regular for us, and he's had a couple of cameos where he's got the Man United second half. He was brilliant. That's the only time he's really sparkled so far. But he has got ability, and again, it's hard coming into a side where so much of the personnel has changed. And also, because results haven't been great, it's hard to integrate yourself into a losing side, isn't it? You know?
Of course it is.
Yeah,
and the other thing you got to think about, though, in his Leeds days, it seemed to be the fact that he was having some of his better games on the right side, and you're never going to unhinge Bowen to put Somerville there. So I suppose it is him trying to gel with a new team, obviously a different system to what he's used to. And trying to find his feet. But you're right, he's very much he's all sparks and dances, but then he stops. And I think that the biggest problem that I saw with Somerville was his defensive work. He likes to run forward, but he looks like he's dragging his feet when he's trying to run back and support the lads.
Well, this is what surprised me. The other week we played a game. Obviously, the opposition looked like odds on to score. And the one making the last-ditch tackle was Somerville.
Wow,
interesting.
But the other thing as well is what was core to our success over the last couple of years. When Emerson and Lucas Paquetá combined on the left, they seem to have a natural understanding. They love playing together. They look so fluent, so connected to each other. And he's moved Paquetá into the centre this year. I don't think he's suited him as much. So perhaps there's an argument for playing Paquetá on the left, and maybe putting Souček in behind the striker. That's probably how I would pick it. I don't think Lopetegui's will do that, but no, I'm not paid X amount of £1 million a year to make sensible decisions.
I don't think any of us are.
Yeah, you're frozen, Rio.
Well, see, I didn't know if it was the I didn't want to say anything because it might have been what I did to Gary the other day, and thinking it was just me. But but anyways, so and Antonio up front, Mighty Win. Where's Antonio from? No answer. Anybody? Mighty Win. Where's
Reggae Boys? Had a game with Hayden the other day.
Whatever. You got that one right just because it scrolled on down to your TV. He's from Jamaica.
No, she went of her own accord.
Big lad, by the way. He's gonna be.
He's not really from Jamaica, is he? He's one of them where it's back in his ancestry. He's born and bred British, isn't he?
That you still Jamaican? What are you talking about? He's like hating not being. He's called up for the Jamaica national team. His grandparents are Jamaican. Dad's Jamaican. He's Jamaican. Yeah. Come on, man.
Well, yeah, but once had a can of Lilk when he was 12, so he got
exactly.
There you go. All right. So, are you there, Rio? He must have frozen. Oh yeah, I think he's gonna have to come back on. And we can finish. Mate, when you don't have to stump on your keyboard, mate. It's not going anywhere.
I'm just sending Rio a message to jump out and jump back in again.
Yeah. All right, so I'm assuming he'll leave Antonio there. Oh, there we go. I think we got him now. There we go. There's Rio.
Back in Rome.
There you go, Rio. So, you got Antonio up front. You leave him there.
Actually, that's another thing that I wouldn't do. I would have played Danny Ings up front and have Antonio come off the bench. Simple reason is that Danny Ings has looked very willing and very able and very capable this season, which, last...
No, we're losing.
Oh, he's gone again.
Yeah. We've lost the sound this time.
40 minutes.
Oh, there we go. We got him now.
Oh, we're back.
We got you. It's because he switches background, so he kind of didn't think. So who's got more goals though, Antonio or Ings?
Antonio has got the most goals
He's played more
overhaul. But yeah, I mean, I think Ings is the better footballer, more suited to the system Lopetegui's trying to play. Antonio coming on with a little bit of muscle and a bit of power against the tiring defence in the second half. For me, that makes sense to kind of reverse the roles that Lopetegui's been using. Yeah. So it should be Ings starting, Antonio coming on at the end of the game.
All right, so let us go with Newcastle's lineup and see what we think here. All right, so we got Pope. I don't think there's an issue there. We got a 4-3-3 because that's what never changes. Dan Burn cannot play, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
So we're gonna take him out. Who do we put? Lloyd Kelly, I would assume.
Lloyd Kelly, yeah.
Lloyd Kelly there. So we got Lloyd Kelly, Fabian Schär, and then you got Lewis Hall on the left back, right?
England superstar, yeah.
And Livramento on the right, there. Because Trippier, everybody was expecting Trippier to be back and Wilson to be back. I think just like every time, that just never happened. So
let's wait and see.
All right. Well, we'll definitely get that answer tomorrow on the press conference. So tune in at 9:10, 20 minutes before the press conference kicks on. We're going to be doing live coverage on that, and we're going to be, basically listening to Eddie Howe and give his spiel. In the midfield, biggest question is going to be who's going to be playing. It's the
I would
debate.
love that. I would absolutely love that too.
Yeah. But
I'd swap Gordon and Joe Linton around, though, to be fair.
Yeah.
But the midfield for me is exactly what I would like it.
You would swap Gordon and Joe Linton?
I would, yeah. I would
lose
want
the Joe Linton Willock effect, don't you?
Yeah, but where's the Willock Joe Linton Hall of Fame effect?
Yeah, but this is what we were saying. What you've got is when when Gordon was on the right hand side, you've had one game that's been half decent. J7's one of these guys who doesn't matter where you play him, he will give you something. I mean, he scored the goal the other week from the edge of the box, curled it in. He was involved in a lot of the work on that right-hand side. When he was over on the left, obviously we were still involved, but he seems so much more. We lose so much more having somebody like of Gordon on the right-hand side, not on the left-hand side. And if you're thinking about building relationships up, we're going to have to try and play players in the strongest role. And for me, you don't move 2 or 3 players around to get a system. You keep everybody in a strongest possible area where they've proven themselves time and time again. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know Gordon hasn't had the best left-sided attack this season, but I just think the way J7 played on the right-hand side, I would not swap that front line at all.
Yeah, but Joe Linton on the right, I think he's going to be legless. I don't know what he's going. I mean, that goal came from the right, by the way, and he shot with his left.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He can use both feet. You see.
I don't know. I don't know if that convinces me, to be honest. I don't know about the lad, Jamie. It might win.
I think the reason it works up there is Joe Willock does his running for him.
Yeah.
And Joe Linton drops in and does the tackling and nullifies whoever's on the right. And I think you're going to have no one to do with running if you're going to have 2 super fast guys on the left and no pace on the right. And, you can maybe change as the game goes on. Joe Linton moved off, about an hour at Forest. So I think
it just becomes too stagnant for me. When you've got Joe Willock and J7, and then obviously Lewis Hall does the overlap. You're absolutely right. The beauty of the likes of Willock is he does fill the half spaces for the likes of J7, who literally just keeps the width, and it doesn't matter where you go, you keep the width. But what I loved about the way Eddie Howe had set this team up was you'd got the likes of Tino Livramento, who was going to run all day for you. And he then goes into the inside right position. and he creates those little diamonds, those pockets of spaces. And when the opposition then try and move you into an opposition, and that's where J7 was wide open for the pass from Isaac the other day to get his goal from. It's not the fact that you want him to move, because you've got players in and around him that'll do it. You know he's always going to track back. You know he's always going to support the defender. But he has a really good knack, J7, of just holding his ground when you need him.
Mighty Wayne, what do you think?
Well, that would be the 11 I would pick, without a doubt.
No, but what do you think, Joelinton, on the right, man?
It's a flip of a coin, because I think we played all our best football the last 3 seasons with Willock and Joelinton on the left. All of it.
The last 3 seasons?
Yeah.
Including this one, so yeah.
Including this one. Yeah.
We've
had our best results with J7 and Willock on the left-hand side. But I mean, obviously, in the past, they've been. If you're putting them down on a pitch like that, it would have been Bruno in midfield and Willock on the left wing before we got Gordon.
All right.
But they just work well together. They've just got some sort of chemistry between them. One they know when to go and the other one comes back. So yeah, sadly I would have Gordon on the right.
The big question is
But I'm going to say you've left the elephant in the room, haven't you?
There's no elephant, and we gotta get wet. We gotta make our decision. We gotta put our feet in the water. We can't say we like this, but then when Longstaff comes on, well, we win every game with Longstaff. So that makes no sense. What do you want to see, and what makes sense?
That's what I want to see.
So you want to see this, and if Longstaff is on the lineup, you will criticize that, right?
No.
Okay, so you're basically not saying much. You're just agreeing with
what
everything.
I'm saying is Tonali is a 10 times better footballer than Longstaff is, so that's what I want to see.
So that's what you should want to see, and you should criticize if that doesn't happen, because
no, I shouldn't.
Based on your convictions,
let's not go into this all again.
Well, it makes no sense. It makes no sense but that you're basically trying to agree with everybody. So that's what you want to do. Perfect. Tonali is the best player of Newcastle United this season to me, and based on quality, well, what you can expect, and also what you've seen a few things. That's fine. He needs to be on the pitch, in my opinion. You can also put your Gordon on there. I obviously the two don't correlate. Gordon is one of the really, based on last season, you can say he's one of our best players. This season, really not
one of our best players. Yeah,
not really living up to that expectation. If you look at results, which is what you do, Harvey Barnes should be on the pitch because he's been the most effective player, proven in the last game once again.
Not when he's starting.
But anyways, so to the sensible people, Jamie, is this midfield, you happy with that, or do you want to put in Longstaff?
I think it's definitely time to get Tonali back in that team. Yeah. The only thing you could say is Bruno's just come back from a long trip to South America. There's a lot of games ahead. Do you rest him for this one? But if you're going to... That team needs to work, doesn't it? And it hasn't worked so far. And I'd reiterate that this is a game against a team that's low on confidence. It's a chance to get them working together. So I would go with that team. If he did rest Bruno and started Longstaff, I'd understand that. I don't think he will.
Yeah.
I think that'll be the team.
I think that'll be the team as well.
I wouldn't be dropped down shocked if Longstaff's in there somewhere. But
what up front?
Oh yeah.
Where you go?
You know,
it wouldn't surprise me.
That'd be the team that I would hope to see.
Okay. Well, do you agree with that, Gary? This the team that you would like to see?
Yeah, I mean, I've said it all along. For me, Tonali is the perfect fit for me in the deep role. We saw that against Chelsea in the cup. Excuse me. He didn't look concerned. Didn't look bothered at all. He looked in control of the ball all the time. He had Longstaff and Willock either side of him, and again progressed the ball really well. I just think I think the biggest problem we find, and like I say, been and watched the Italian game now, and he's had 4 out of 5 games that have been really great, but he's played on the left side of a three, and like obviously for us, again, you've got to give Tonali a chance to try and show himself, because the players that he's had to play alongside on the right hand side, you talk about Miguel Almiron and Jacob Murphy. Just haven't linked up very well with him in these little pockets and triangles. So for me, like I say, I think that is the perfect fit. I think it frees Bruno up to go forward. And I love the fact that you've got three players in the middle that can do something different. And I think that is what we haven't had for such a long time. We know Willock is more of the oppressor. He'll go on and he'll just try and get into the pockets of space and try and shift the back four a little bit. You've got two lads that can, possession of the ball is going to be what they want to do, and they can progress the ball to feet quite comfortably. I just think sometimes Bruno takes too many chances for me when he drops deep. So I'd like somebody like Tonali in there that can control the ball a bit more.
All right, Rio, what do you think about this lineup, man? Do you fear that lineup? What do you think?
I think it's a very solid back four. I think Pope's good keeper. What worries me is the midfield, just because the energy and the work rate there. Willock always seems to play very well against us. Mm-hmm. Anthony Gordon, who is probably the clown boo boy for West Ham at your lob at the moment, he worries me because if there is any gaps in between the centre backs and our full backs, he's the one to exploit it. Harvey Barnes comes off the bench to augment that. It's a recipe for disaster. And I know Isaac isn't exactly the flavour of the month with a lot of views, but I think he's a quality striker.
Especially that guy right there.
But yeah, I think he's a quality striker, and his finishing ability, the way we're performing at the moment, it's dangerous, very dangerous.
Would you take Isaac at West Ham?
Oh, in a heartbeat.
Okay, there we go.
You can actually move for a start.
But exactly. So, the midfield, apologies for the midfield little debate, man. I know we got a guest. We're supposed to behave, in front of a guest, but it's just the nonsense, you know what I mean, that we hear from certain fans, man. It's like me asking Soler in your team to start over, Alvarez or something. It'd be that nonsensical, you know what I mean? Like, it would just make zero sense. But
that's because West Ham haven't won more games with Solera in the team than we have with Longstaff.
Just that. That's the stat. Nothing else. No stats of the player himself.
You're walking in on this broken record, Rio. It's basically the statistically Newcastle win more games when Longstaff's in the team, even though we know he's not the best player.
Even though he doesn't do a damn thing to win the games that he's talking about. But, he just happens to be there and just guru stuff, man. Not really football stuff that you and I like to talk about, or Jamie or Gary. But we're going to get into the player-by-player stuff. We're going to have to choose between two players. And there we go. So, Nick Pope, we're going to use the lineup that you gave us. We're going to use the lineup that we came up with and compare the players and see who's got better quality players. So, Nick Pope against Lucas Fabianski. To me, this is a tough one because I do rate Fabianski, although he's 39 years of age, as we see. So I'm going to lean towards Pope, but I think I know the other guys making fun of Fabianski, but I rate him. I think he's had a good career. So let's go in from Mighty Win. Who would you and keep going.
Yeah, Nick Pope.
Yeah. So Gary, Jamie.
Yeah, Pope.
Nick Pope, not even close. Sorry.
Yeah, and Rio.
Yeah, Pope. Fabianski's been a good servant for us. His distribution isn't the greatest, and like you said, what he relied on with his shot-stopping ability, and he's 39 now. That's not going to improve.
That's right. Let us go with the center backs, and please, people in the chat as well, get involved. Let us know what you think and who'd you pick, who'd you rather have. So the next ones we got Lloyd Kelly and Max Kilman. This is an interesting one. I really like Kilman, by the way. But I like Kelly's ability as well. So I don't know. Mighty Wayne, what do you think?
So do I. No, I like Kilman. I'll have Kilman all day in that competition.
Okay.
£45 million, very well spent.
There we go, Gary.
Yeah, Kilman. I think he was a good find from
Oof.
West Ham. I think he's really good.
Wow, Kilman.
That's just the minutes.
Yeah, that's.
No, I know that, but I mean, even playing 11 games, that's a pretty nice. Not comparing it to. I'm just saying he's very proactive, Shar-like, if you will. I don't even know if Fabian Schär has that same heat map on the right side, but that's really good. Is he really good with the ball in creating? Rio?
Yeah, he's got a very good eye for a pass, which
yeah,
he's like, he's a very good passer of the ball. So he's one of our shining lights of the season so far, and there hasn't been many of them at all.
Yeah. So I guess you would pick Max Kilman as well.
Yeah.
So Gary, who'd you pick?
I said Kilman.
Okay.
Definitely Kilman.
Jamie?
I'm going to go with Kilman, but I think it's close. I think we would have, if they were both £10 million in the summer, we'd have wanted Kilman, wouldn't we? Would have bought Kilman. But I think Lloyd Kelly could be on the verge of having a bit of a spell in the team here, and I think we might be more impressed with him this time next month than we have been so far. But I'll go with Kilman.
So Kilman gets that one. The next one, we got Fabian Schär.
Fab, doesn't matter who the other bloke is.
And then we got Todibo, man. Todibo. Where's he at? Oh, I got spelled Todibo. Jean-Claire Todibo. What? How do you say it? France, whatever.
France.
La France. Is either Français or La France.
What do you think, Mighty Win?
I'm going to go with Fab. We just we were linked with Todibo, and I mean they've got him on loan. I think it's just on loan at the minute, isn't it, Bio?
Yeah, I think he has met the criteria to make it a permanent
loan option to buy. Yeah. So, but Fab, because there's a goal there. If he need it, he's got the pass. He gets out, and I think he's going to have runners that he'll be able to find.
Yeah.
So Fab for me.
Is he pretty strong defender, Rio? Is he hold his own? Can he hold his own?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, we've only had him in fits and starts at the moment. He's still not up to full fitness already. But when he has played, he's looked reasonably solid, again, comfortable on the ball, which you want from a modern centre-half. He's full of promise, but at the moment, he's just promise.
Yeah, that's true. Gary?
I'd go with Todibo. He's won more ground duels. He's won a lot more aerial duels, because obviously we know that Charles not the greatest in the air. I'd go with Todibo.
That's what I think. That's why I asked Rio that question, because Fabian Schär is not great defensively, and if Todibo is not great yet attacking, what do you rather have from your center back? So just something to think about, Jamie.
No, that's not something to think about. It's
a couple of
statistics that some twat in a paper writes down. It's Fab. It's Fab.
Okay,
he creates
half
of our attacks. He gets back and comes out of nowhere and stops people scoring. He puts his body on the line. He's a fabulous defender. He's been a fabulous servant to his club, and he's one of the first names on the team sheet. And
Get
that's
in.
on the team sheet as well.
Get in, Jamie, lad.
Well, there you go. So we're going to have Lewis Hall on the left
side.
Hang
on. You'll have to have the cast and vote there, though, because that's two apiece.
What did Rio say?
Rio said...
Todibo, I think, didn't he?
You said Todibo, didn't you?
I was very much on the fence, but I think...
Oh, yeah, well, there you go.
I'm going to have to go to Todibo just for the West Ham part of it.
Exactly.
So Todibo. I'm not happy with Char's defensive efforts lately, man. So
this is shit.
I'm not happy, man. I feel like he's kind of being a little lazy, getting too happy going forward and not really worrying about what he needs to do in the back. So for this one, I'm gonna go to Todibo. Just for this time, with the moment. He needs to defend, man. That's what he's
Google is getting overwhelmed now with people searching for proper Newcastle United podcasts.
But I'll tell you what. I'll give Lewis Hall my vote on this one. Lewis Hall against Emerson Palmieri. Emerson Palmieri. 30 years, Emerson. I thought he was a lot younger than that. But Lewis Hall certainly got this one by a mile, right? Or what do you guys think?
Yeah, Lewis Hall.
By a mile for me, yeah.
Rio?
Emerson's a very solid player. I do like him a lot. But I think I'll just have to edge towards Hall. But Hall hasn't won every single European competition like Emerson has, and he hasn't gotten tattooed up everywhere like Emerson has. When you do it, Lewis, come back to us.
He's at the other end of his career, though, mate, isn't he? That's the thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, has he got the legs to go up and down for 90 minutes? Well, no, he hasn't. He has got some good stats about him. That you've got to give him that. But for me, when you want somebody who can fill the half spaces and play, as you were saying about Wan-Bissaka, Lewis Hall plays that role superbly well.
And also, Emerson and Paqueta, when they work in tandem, they look a far more efficient unit and therefore individuals. So Emerson's looked a bit lost without Paqueta in front of him and interchange the balls. And
there you go. All right, so we'll go with the next one on the right side, Livramento versus Mr. Kufal.
No, Livramento versus one. Oh, you're putting Kufal instead of Wan-Bissaka.
That's his team, man. You're not West Ham. You a West Ham fan now? Come on, man. This dude is a Man United fan, Man City fan. Jesus. All right. So Vladimir Kufal from Russia and Livramento.
That's the Czech Republic.
Czech Republic.
Oh, Czech Republic. Sorry. I got the same flag.
Everybody that's called Vladimir is not from Russia, you know.
Well, there you go. Well, kind of. Anyway, we're not going into that. So, what do you think, Livramento or Vladimir? Mighty win.
Tino will do.
Tino.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know.
Current England international, man. What more do you want?
Yeah, well, to bring the water into the team.
So is that lot from Chelsea? I won't pick him.
Ex-Chelsea, indeed. Yes, same as Lewis Hall.
True. So Gary.
I mean, like I say, I think Tino's still got a lot to learn. Wow. But again, what I like with Tino is he gives you the engine. I'll go with Tino.
Interesting. Look at that heat map, though. Tino's literally hot from up and down, man. I didn't expect that. I thought he had more deficiencies than. I mean, that doesn't mean anything, really.
It's his defensive deficiencies of anything, because he
does go to sleep sometimes.
He gets lost at times, but that's just because he's young. He'll get better.
All right. Something we can't say about you, Jamie. What do you think?
I think Tino, 100%.
And Rio. Oh, Jamie just probably battery died or something. Oh, there we go. He's back.
I got my 10% warning. I might switch devices. Tino.
Go on, Rio. Tino.
I'm going Vlad. He's been one of my favourite players for the last 3 or 4 years. He gives absolutely everything. He has got a very decent cross on him. And we never utilised him, but he takes corners for Czech Republic. He's quite successful with them. And we're desperate for someone who can take a set piece. So I'm going Vlad. Just for 100% wholehearted effort.
Vladimir. Okay. So we're going to the midfield now. And who do we put Guido Rodriguez against? It could be...
well, he's defensive,
we got Tonali, so we will put Tonali.
That's who.
And Tonali, it's not even fair, man. I'm telling you. And I love he's former River Plate, Rodriguez. I'm a fan of River Plate. Come on, man. We're gonna put Guido because I can't do the little thing. All right. So Guido Rodriguez versus Tonali. Mighty win. You put
Sandro Tonali every time.
Okay.
But it would be Rodriguez if Longstaff was in there.
Would it? Oh, you would have fooled me, but what you say all the time. Gary, what do you think?
Tonali. I just think Rodriguez loses his head a little bit sometimes. And when you're playing in that role, you just need somebody who dictates play. And I think sometimes he just jumps in and creates a lot of fouls in the final third, which obviously puts his team under a bit of pressure. So Tonali for me for his overall play.
Jamie?
I'm trying to think if there's anybody in the Premier League who I would vote against Tonali in this game.
Go, son. Go on, son.
And there may be as the season progresses, but it ain't Guido Rodriguez.
That's right, man. Man, Jamie, man. I'm telling you, you know your football, bro. Rio?
Tonali. Rodriguez is a very tidy player, but I'm not sure he's a very tidy Premiership player. It's the pace of the game is something he's struggling with a little bit.
There we go. Good one. All right, so we're going to go with Alvarez, and in this case, you have to go Bruno. So Bruno Guimaraes versus Mr. Edson Alvarez. Yeah, I don't think he's going to win that one either. 26, same age, 27. Bruno is just, I think better than Edson, no doubt.
He's currently top of the charts in the Premiership for fouls won, tackles, successful tackles, and not interceptions, breaking up attacks.
Wow.
Now
I think they have played about the same time. Well, he's been
Radio Frank.
Yeah. So all right, well, Gary,
Bruno all day.
Yeah.
I just think his progression with the ball is outstanding, and his leadership in the middle. People have questioned it, but like Rio said, for a lot of what Kudo he is literally the lad who wears his heart on his sleeve sometimes, and he just plays the way you want him to play. It's not always tidy, and he does take risks. But when you play him a bit further up the field, I think he's outstanding.
Okay. What do you think, Jamie?
Yeah, it's I think Rio said before, the midfield's a bit of a mismatch, at least on paper. It's obviously Bruno, isn't it?
And to be fair, there's not a lot of teams that beat us on the midfield when we do play by players. Not very many. No. So that's not the problem, man. Once we put Tonali in there, we would have lost if we put other players that shouldn't be there. Rio.
Yeah, I've got to say Bruno. Much as I love Edson, he's a bit of a loose cannon at times, and he doesn't get around the pitch and isn't as disciplined as he needs to be at this level. Not this season, anyway.
Right. Now, to compete with your 4-2-3-1, because sometimes he's been able to play kind of centered. Willock, we should do Willock versus Paquetá, because I don't think we put. Let me see. Now this one right here, you're going to win. I guarantee you.
Do you not think Joelinton against Paquetá is an interesting big question?
Yeah, but
Bruno for Brazil.
Bruno is I mean, sorry, not Bruno. Joelinton is a 10 though. I don't see that either. Yeah. He could though, actually. I think Joe Willock can do a lot of things, but I think we've seen in this transition that in this team that Willock and Joelinton have formed, that Joe Willock goes to the middle a lot more than Joelinton.
Yeah, it'd be the start, wouldn't it? It'd start with that change.
So let me go with Lucas Paquetá and Mighty Win.
I love Paquetá. I love Paquetá. And yeah, I would. Given that he hasn't got the issues he's got, and given that him and Bruno would be back together again, match made in heaven. Paquetá all day for me. Even though Willock comes and goes, but when he's good, he's very, very good. But when he's not, he's invisible.
Yep. Sorry, Gary.
When you look, when we just said there about like the relationships and stuff like that, not been very great on the international scene. These two played in the middle of the park, and it's a case of, and I'm talking about Bruno and Paquetá. But I'm sure
fabulous
again,
in France.
Well, they were fabulous in France, but like in this last few games that they've played, they've been very far from that. So I look at from what I've seen with Willock this season, if we can keep that lad fit, he unlocks so much more for me. I do love Willock in our side. He's just a different player. I think while we've got Bruno and we've got Tonali, would we need another player of their ability? I want something different, so I'm going to go Willock.
Okay, Jamie.
I'm leaning towards what Gary said because I do like Joe Willock. He's so important. He's the only one that carries the ball and turns midfield possession into meaningful attacks. It's tricky to say that pound for pound he's a better player than Paquetá.
Pound for pound, it's hard to say. What are you talking about? It's hard to say, man.
I'm going to go with Joe Willock. Just because I think we will go for Paquetá, and that means you have to decide again.
Don't be a chicken, man.
Which will be Paquetá.
Rio, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going for Paquetá. He's not been at his best this season because, as we mentioned before, all this betting stuff is really weighing heavy on him. But he's still one of the very few players we've got who can unlock a defence in just a snap of a finger. When we signed him, we got told we was buying not only a wizard but a warrior. And when he's in the mood, and he's got to get in the mood sometime this season. So, yeah, Paquetá.
Look at
We've got David T in there for you, Rio. He says, Rio looks like one of the Upton Park faithful from my away days. Scary. But he sounds like a great bloke.
So I'll break the tie. Paquetá, no doubt, man. It's better player, man. It is what it is. So Paquetá, unfortunately for us. You got Somerville on the left though, so that we shouldn't even put it on the board, man. Somerville versus Joe Linton, it ain't even close. Not even for you, Rio. You wouldn't even pick Somerville over Joe Linton.
I wonder, do other fans actually realise how good a player J7 is?
No, not from here. Not from our point of view.
And I think that's pretty widespread, I would say. A lot of people, everybody hears about Bruno and Isaac and all, and not a lot of away fans are actually aware of what a player J7 is.
Well, because a lot of times he does what nobody wants to do. Sorry, I put Bo in there for some reason. He works a lot, and that's why I think he would be a great DM. To be fair, but nobody listens to me.
I wonder why.
Well, actually, a lot of people do. We go to the polls, man. You're gonna lose again.
Make your mind up. Either a lot of people do or nobody does.
Well, the chatters do. But so Joe Linton versus Crescencio Somerville from the Netherlands. Anybody would pick Crescencio?
Sadly, not. No, not for me.
See, I can't even spell it half the time.
There we go.
I mean, his stats aren't bad, I mean, in the final third, he's got 71%. He's like success rate in his open play passes and successful crosses. I mean, he's certainly not a bad player. But I just think on his overall play, I'd take J7 because he's so versatile. He's so Go on, mate.
Versatile as an egg.
What about Mohamed Kudus against Joe Linton?
Oh,
if we were to do that,
you wouldn't, would you? You'd put Mohamed Kudus up against Gordon, wouldn't you?
Well, Kudus on the no.
Kudus not if you're leaving Gordon on the right hand side.
Oh yeah, because we got Gordon on the right.
Well, it's a kind of false equation, isn't it? Because you wouldn't be playing J7 there.
What are you talking about? Joe Linton is on the left. We got him on the left.
Yeah, I know, but we haven't got Kudus on the left.
Rio, where would you play Kudus? Would you not play him over Somerville?
Oh yeah, in a heartbeat. Absolutely.
Exactly. Oh yeah, absolutely.
So what are you talking about then? He's playing on the left. Where has he been playing all season, Kudus?
He has been playing predominantly on the left, which
exactly.
No, I agree he has. What I'm saying is,
what you ain't saying nothing.
I am saying something. I'm saying that in this formation team that we've got, you're putting J7 up against Kudus. But
exactly, because he would be on the left and Joe Linton would be on the left.
But you're playing him as a left winger. Whereas J7 isn't playing as a left winger, strictly speaking. The way Willock and J7 play is not an out and out left winger. But I would still have J7 anyway. J7's in every team I pick.
Okay, good. Well, anyways, Rio, you pick Joe Linton over Somerville, I would assume.
Yeah. Somerville's just a work in progress.
All right, there we go. So on the right, we're gonna have Gordon. This is an interesting one. This is a really tough one. Or Bowen, Jared Bowen or Anthony Gordon. This is a tough one right there. Forget the heat map because these players play, or at least Gordon plays on different areas of the pitch. I will get you in, Jamie. No worries. But Mighty Win, what do you think? This is a big predicament for you.
It is a massive predicament for me if I've got to choose between one or the other. And I would choose Bowen.
You would choose Bowen over
Anthony Gordon, yeah.
Over Anthony Gordon.
Every day.
Interesting. What about you, Gary?
Yeah, I think he gives you more on the right hand side, if I'm honest with Bowen, because that's where he's always been. And again, he gives you more up front when you put him up front than Anthony Gordon's shown. So yeah, I'd go for Bowen as well.
Okay, Jamie.
Well, I'm going Gordon. Yeah, I think you would put the relative strengths of how this season's gone. Gordon hasn't set the world on fire, and Bowen's been consistently good for West Ham for a long time. But I think pound for pound, I take Gordon here.
Is Bowen been consistently going to England as of late?
He missed out the last two squads. He got called up as a replacement for this cycle of international games.
Yeah. But I think he should be a regular anyway. And I think there was a report on maybe the Sun about Bowen in England. So it should be.
Because England play Bowen on the right and Gordon on the left.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I tell you something now. If Gordon was on the right in the England squad, and we had everybody fit and available, I don't think even Gordon would get into the squad if he was predominantly right-sided.
No, because it's Saka anyway. So
that's what I'm saying.
Rio, obviously, you take Jared Bowen
in an absolute heartbeat. I'm not a fan of Gordon, and I'm not going to alienate the viewers. It's not just
dude. That's what I want you on for, man.
Yeah, man. Give your opinion, man. Give your opinion.
I could explain myself after we've finished this particular section. But yeah, Gordon, I never liked him at Everton. Yeah, he's got that floppy hair, blonde look of the kid who used to be at school. He used to really try and pick on people and be smarmy. And he's not lost that. That penalty he won for you up against us last year. No, Anthony. No, Jared Bowen all day long.
So Jared Bowen
can't kick people in the box, Rio. Doesn't matter where the legs have come from.
Jared Bowen winning this one by a landslide, pretty much, man. That's interesting. Well, so what is our teams looking like, Mighty Win?
We've got Pope, Kilman, Tadibo, centre backs, Tino, right back. We've got Paqueta, Bruno, Tonali in the middle, and J7 and Bowen on the wing.
Oh yeah, we forgot one. We forgot Isak. Isak versus
Antonio.
Antonio. I don't think it's gonna be fair though. Although Mighty Win's gonna vote for Antonio, yeah, but he'll be the only one. What's Antonio? How do you spell that? Mikel Antonio. Oh, it was Mikel Antonio. Anyway, so there you go. What do you guys think? Obviously, I think the majority will say Isak anyway.
What do you think? I think it'll be pretty unanimous. I don't think anybody's paying 100. Nobody's paying 100 million for Antonio.
If we go back a little bit, right? We bombed out our greatest defender of the last 5 years for some tin pot ham and egg Frenchman because he's not very good in the air. Isn't Antonio better than Isak in the air?
I think he's a proper centre forward, man.
Shouldn't all you Mopeds be voting for him on his head and
You're
ability?
talking to the converted.
It doesn't work like that, does it?
That's the Mighty Win. That you should say that to the Mighty Win. I actually do rate Isak and think he is proper centre forward anyway.
He's not a centre forward.
Yes, he
He's
is.
a striker.
He's a center forward. Man. Any other club in the world would take him in a heartbeat to play center forward. Any other club.
Play him as a striker.
So, Rio, what do you think?
It's no contest.
There we go.
Can we have him at the end of the season, please?
Well, according to Mighty Win, he's going to sell all the players, man. All the good players. We want to keep Longstaff, though. That's the problem. All right.
We need the aerial duels won. That's the main thing, isn't it?
Well, but he's not a defender, though. Anyways, what's the team, Mighty Win?
So Pope, Tino, Tadibo, Kilman, Hall, Bruno, Tonali, Paqueta, J7, Bowen, and Isaac up top.
Yeah. All right, folks.
So they've got 1, 2, 3, 4 West Ham players, 7 Newcastle players. And I think that just about sums things up, doesn't it? You know, in terms of what result you would expect. That's pretty much where the teams are right now.
Yeah.
In terms of their progression.
All right, so it's time for predictions. So people in the chat, if you're part of the NUFC Talk TV members weekly prediction, give us your prediction right now. If you haven't already, there's a few that we need. So please get it in. You have time until when we do the build up, but you might as well get it in as soon as possible. You can always change it. So because if not, you're not gonna get any points. Prediction, Mighty Win. What's your prediction for this match?
3-0. Comfortable.
3-0. Comfortable. Man, I've heard that before. Gary?
I want to go 4-2 because I think this is going to be one of the a game very similar to last season. But I'm going to be
it's you 4-2 go, so go 4-2.
I'm going to go 3-1.
3-1 Newcastle. All right, we're writing it down. What do you think, Jamie?
I've gone with 4-0, but I've completely disregarded the 2-headed goals we concede every single game.
Hey.
But then I remember that doesn't happen, and some people are just daft. So I'm sticking with 4-0. I'm sticking with 4-0, and I'm going to be all over this when Fab scores the fourth and gets man of the match.
What? With his head?
We shall see. We shall see. Rio, what is your prediction, mate?
Everyone's nicking my bloody choices. So I was going to go 3-0, and I was going to go 3-1. So let's go 4-1. I think you're going to pump us 4-1.
Wow. 4-1. Wow, nice.
I just need to sort of speak up for Rio a bit because one of my good mates is a West Ham fan. Our boys play for the same footy team, and he's got exactly the same approach. Like we were chatting the other night, and he has, I would say, even less hope for this game than Rio's had, if you can believe that. I think it's where West Ham's at now.
All right. So let us go with the NUFC Tokyo prediction list.
Rio, just first, Rio, do you think, have you got kind of any relegation worries at all?
I think we have, actually. Merely because the teams around us, who we should be kind of exerting ourselves against, you know, we haven't got a plan. We haven't got a plan A. I think Jamie said earlier, like under the Pardew and Bruce end of their tenures at Newcastle, they had a plan A, but not a plan B. We've got a plan C, no plan A, and the plan B is like toss for the coin if it works that day.
Yeah.
So, I think we're banging trouble already.
Yeah, just because looking at the table, you're only 4 points behind Man United.
Yeah, but that's the worst Man United side we've seen.
So there's a gap developing there.
Yeah.
But you're only 5 points ahead of relegation.
When we played Man United the other week, that first half, we should have been 5 or 6-0 down. And that is the worst Man United side I think I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. And we let them absolutely batter us in that first half. All right, we come out and win in the end, but no, we're in trouble. We're in big trouble.
Yeah, I don't think West Ham will get relegated. There's no way. Too big of a club.
We've heard that before. Too big to go down.
Yeah, well, it might happen, but we were numpty, so I don't think they got numpty owners. Maybe people don't.
Rio saying they have.
Well, I mean, like I said, most people don't agree, but it's not the Mike Ashley, which is like 100%, 102% agree that he should have been going a long time ago. It can happen. I just don't think. I don't think it will happen at West Ham, man. West Ham, I don't see it. I don't see it. But hopefully not. Anyway, man, that's the thoughts. That's the way the thoughts should be. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Predictions, Jordy Tune for Live. Need your predictions. George Eaton, need your predictions. RG Fox, need your predictions. Antagonizing Jordy, need your predictions. But you're in the chat, so what did you say? He says
GTFL said
GTF, not GTFL, AG. I'm talking about Antagonizing Jordy. Don't confuse it. Antagonizing Jordy, need your predictions. DX is 3-1. Benjamin Maven need his predictions as well. Mighty Mag, need your predictions.
Mighty Mag's in the house.
So we need your predictions, fellas. 3-1 is AG. So we're gonna put it in right now before we have to go. Ronald Turnbull, Olfer, Jonathan Shaw, Paul, Trolls, Foxy, Beard says 2-2. This is like the 5th time Beard has changed his today. Marky NUFC, Brian Scott, stick me for 3 now says Mighty Mag.
Alton's going 5. Let me know.
Let me see. Where is Mighty Mag? 3. Now that's what I say too. 3-0. I had 2-0, but yeah, Colton 5-0. All right. Well, if you haven't given us your prediction, make sure you give it to us at some point before the. Oh, Jonathan Shaw says 4-0 right there. So Jonathan Shaw, there we go. All right. Yeah. Last but not least, before we go, players that have played for Newcastle United and West Ham United Football Club. I will go with the first one. My idol, Norberto Solano. Played for both teams. And so, Rio, give me one.
Paul Goddard.
You've just took the one that I had in my head, you bugger.
That's a good one. Jamie?
Kevin Nolan.
Oh.
Kevin. No, that's another good one. Mighty Win.
I will go for this gentleman.
Stop cheating, man.
On my left.
The Mighty Win play for West Ham.
No, but the number 7 under my shoulder did. Pop Robson.
Oh, Pop Robson. That is true. Oh, wow.
And also, by the way, his namesake, Keith Robson, also played for them.
Wow, interesting. But nobody guesses Andy Carroll.
Paul Kitson.
Andy Carroll, man. Rob Lee. Rob Lee. Scott Parker. Scott Parker.
Oh, Scotty Parker, yeah.
What about Stuart Pearce? Did you guys say Stuart Pearce?
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Stuart Pearce.
Psycho.
Pavel Cernicek. Cernicek.
Yeah.
Pav. Did you have Pavel as a Geordie in your team? I can't remember.
Very briefly we did.
Hey, man.
And Shaka.
Yeah.
Shaka Winslow.
Oh, Shaka,
yes.
Craig Bellamy.
Yep.
Wow.
Bellamy as well.
Nobody got excited about that. I mean, come on, man. I couldn't remember. This is more my time, so I couldn't remember Andy Carroll playing for both.
I'm trying to think. Have we ever signed a good player from West Ham? There's a lot of players gone the other way. Have we ever signed a good player from West Ham?
Didn't Paul Goddard do well for you then?
Yeah, Paul Goddard. Yeah.
Yeah, he was player of the season in I think the worst season we ever had.
What about Kieran Dyer, man?
No, we didn't sign him from West Ham. We signed him from
signing him from there. Okay, but he came. He played for. He actually
we had Bowyer as well.
Yeah.
Who's that? Sorry,
Bowyer we had.
Yeah, that was after us, though, wasn't
it? Yeah.
Oh, Les Ferdinand. Nobody brought him up.
Yeah, somebody did, but that's after. I'm on about. We don't sign.
I know when. I get your point, mate, but you know,
I can't think of anybody. Paul Goddard was an exception to that rule, yeah.
But I mean, that's a very limited sample, though. I mean, how many? That's like.
Well, it only covers 60 years, so yeah, right.
It's a limit. How many players actually have gone from West Ham to Newcastle? Limited.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
The point I'm making is because players would rather live in London than Newcastle.
Oh, here we go. Fucking. Did you remember Mohamed Diame?
Diaby, yeah.
He did both. And Abdoulaye Faye.
Did he play for the Hammers, did he?
That literally played one game for us and then 0 games for West Ham. He was just there. So like
when he was in the championship, we got relegated. Yeah. I think it was Pardew who signed him, and
Kitson.
He's a Pardew. I think it's either Pardew or Allardyce might have signed him.
There you go.
He didn't get much
actually, quite a few players though. To be fair.
Did we sign Marlon Harewood from West Ham, or did he go to West Ham?
Harewood.
Derek, I've got a great player was signed from West Ham who nobody's mentioned, which is ridiculous. Demba Ba.
I've said that before.
Demba Ba came.
I thought we got him from Chelsea.
Came from West Ham. I did. Sorry.
No, he went to Chelsea, man.
Yeah, I know that, but I thought
from West Ham.
He came from West Ham.
Wow. He's a belter. Then what did you let him go for, Rio?
We got relegated, I think.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
West Ham been relegated in this century?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the yo-yo club.
Remember that, man. And it must have been the beginning because.
Well, it
it's
2011 maybe. If we got
no way 2011.
I think it's 2009. We came back up in the 11-12 season. Spent 2 years in the championship.
Oh, right.
So it's when we had Avon Grant as manager. So it might have been 2009, 2010. We come back 2 years later. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well,
and we also got relegated at the start of the century.
Wayne Quinn.
And the other one, who you said was Lee Bowyer. We had from West Ham.
No, we got him from Charlton, didn't we?
No, Lee Bowyer come from West Ham.
Lee Bowyer.
I think.
Well, we got a lot of players.
Oh, well, there you go.
It's a lot of players. So unlike with other teams, it'd be interesting to know who we shared with the most. For a long time, I think we were Tottenham's academy. Yeah. So it'll be interesting. But a lot of players there. The greatest of all, though, Novi Solano. So there you go. He went out there at the end of his career. But
Rio, Chris is from Peru. He's our Paddington Bear.
Yeah, man. Yes. But Rio, it's been lovely to have you on, man. You need to come back. By the way, Rio's YouTube channel, it's tagged in the title. So if you're interested in footy,
which is, if you're wondering, if anybody's wondering what the KUMB is, it's knees up, mother brand, knees up, mother brand. Under the table we will go, E-I-E-I-E-I-O. So that's what the Cumb is, Rio.
Yep.
You got
website, been running 26 years now. We have a YouTube channel, KUMB 1997 YouTube. But yeah, everyone's welcome. Come on. As long as you behave yourself, don't give us too much. Yeah,
of course, mate. Thank you so much, Rio, for coming on.
Get over there, give them a subscribe, give them a like, folks.
Thank you, Gary. Cheers, thank you, Jamie. Also, thank you, Mighty Win. We will see you tomorrow for the press conference in a few hours. So, thank you so much. We will see you then. Take care, folks.
Away the lads.
Away the lads.